What is up, NFC North fans? We are just over a week away from the NFL season. Things are going to get spicy around here real quick. We got some matchups week one that we are definitely interested in. We're not going to be there quite yet, but what we are going to do tonight is we're going to talk 53-man rosters. We're also going to give record predictions to make sure that these guys put their money where their mouth is. All right, let me bring in the panel. Bass, one bar, Dose. He's in prison again. I just, you know what?
Corporate hell,
actually, man. Hey, inmate 197643. How you doing, brother?
Brother, if we're going to talk in terms, you know, they got me. That's all I got to say. They got me held up, but we're good. We're not in a hotel room Airbnb like the last time, so we're living over here.
Perfect. All right, fellas, listen, I'm not going to bury the lead. This Micah Parsons thing is not going away. All right. Last week we talked about it. This week we're going to talk about it again because the dog on Twitter has doubled down. Not only did he say last week that, hey, you know, they're interested, they've put out an offer. Now he's very specific with said offer. Now, in talking with you, Bass, I know that he hasn't really hit on the Packers stuff, but I will tell you his hit rate is very, very high across the NFL. That I do know. I do trust when he says something. But the Packers are very different. They don't usually leak. And just knowing the organization, this doesn't seem to be their style whatsoever. But I'm still intrigued. What are your thoughts on this whole Parsons situation?
So I've been kind of like following it pretty closely just because it's interesting. Like there's so much hype last night. Everyone's like, I can't fall asleep. You've John Kuhn who works for the Packers just posting Micah freaking Parsons, which kind of made me not believe it as much because if someone's working for the Packers, they wouldn't be allowed to post that like a deal, like a rumor of a deal. You know what I mean? And I think someone texted John Kuhn and he was just like, yeah, I was just trolling. So there's that. But I've also been paying attention to some other things. I've had people DM me and someone DM me that Ricky Scoops is actually David Mulugeta. And I'm like, that's a crazy theory. Like if he put out that he wants $45 million or whatever, that's what he's trying to boost the contract. I don't know. That would be crazy to me if the main agent was a burner account on X. I mean, I wouldn't put it past some people. I mean, clearly it's kind of working. Not necessarily that I believe that. But yeah, like you said, the Packers keep everything really close to their chests. So I find it hard to believe that it's going to get leaked out to a Twitter account that generally that we know of doesn't have any organizational ties with the Green Bay Packers. And it is out of their wheelhouse, but I'll say this. Our new CEO, Ed Policy, Mark Murphy was forced to retire because he hit that age threshold. Our new CEO, Ed Policy, there's been some rumors circling that, you know, he's going to be a little bit more stern with Gutekunst and LaFleur for this upcoming season, and they have to produce, or, you know, maybe there's something that needs to be switched up. I don't necessarily believe that, but if that is the case, maybe that's kind of pushing them to go, okay, let's do something out of our wheelhouse and let's go make a franchise changing move. I would love it. Like I'm going to say here and say time and time again that it's not going to happen because it's not going to happen. Like I just don't believe it's going to happen, but I would love it. I would love to be wrong. I'll gladly come on here next week and be like, guys, I was wrong because we have Micah Parsons. I would love to do that. I don't see it happening. Whatever it would cost, though, I'm fine with it. You know, the Packers generally don't do too great in their first round picks anyways. And the odds of you getting a Micah Parsons in the next couple of years in your first round are very, 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 very slim. So, yeah, I'm sure you guys wouldn't like it, but I would love it.
Well, I'm actually going to ask the panel real quick. Without a spoiler alert, I don't need to know the records. Definitely don't tell us who you got 1 through 4. But knowing where you have the Packers in your division, would your opinion change if Micah Parsons was added to the roster? Dose, I will actually start with you on this one. Would your opinion change with your standings overall if Parsons was on the Packers?
Yes.
Oh, I like it. Okay. All right. One bar. What about you? Would your opinion change it?
It's gotta. It's Micah Parsons. I'm not saying how much it's going to change, but it would definitely affect. For sure.
Okay. All right, Nick.
I will say yes, but I want to give a warning to Packers fans. This is a warning. We had this with Khalil Mack back in 2018. Very similar. I saw the project. It was like what, 2 first rounders, a second and a fifth best, something like that. We sent that to the Raiders. Along with that, we had to take on his cap. And at the time, 28 million or something like that was what the 45 million is now in the NFL. And that was 7 years or 8 seasons ago, technically. You are mortgaging your next 5 years on Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
If it works out, great. Happy for you guys. But with Khalil Mack, it worked for 3 of the 5 seasons he was here because he was injured the other 2. Played injured, still a dominant player. But as a Bears fan, like, Baz is my friend, except when we play the Packers, he's not my friend. It is a big, big risk for Green Bay. Baz, I'm sure you look at it that way too, but knowing exactly what went on, just crazy. I literally saw it, and when Bears fans were like, we need Micah, I was like, we do not need another Khalil Mack situation again.
Well, here, I'll rebuttal that real quick. Like, I get it as a risk, but at the same time, your quarterback was Mitch Trubisky at the time. So it's like, yeah, you could have a wonderful defense, right? So like, I get that, but in the same sense, the Packers and Gutekunst, they're habitually great at drafting in the middle rounds. Like, a lot of our star talent comes from 4th round and on. Like Zach Tom, who we just made, our highest paid offensive lineman. He was a 4th rounder, right? Evan Williams from this past season was a 4th rounder. I could keep going on. So like, the Packers draft very, very well in later rounds, whereas usually in the earlier rounds, the 1st and mainly the 3rd is where they start to struggle. Now, I think Matthew Golden is going to completely flip that table this year, and I think it's going to be like, okay, finally. But I think it's a little bit different of a scenario, and I think Micah Parsons is better than Khalil Mack was when you guys traded for him.
Fair. I mean, like, but you look at them on paper, both of them double-digit sack season year over year. 26 years old. I think Mac turned 27 like the night that we played Green Bay. So listen, if the Packers do it, like you said, it's a franchise-changing move for a while. That being said, any team that were to do it, like, it's just like me saying there's a lot of risk to it. As a Bears fan, I'm like, great, because if that happens to Green Bay and like the next 5 years are mortgaged on it, it doesn't work out. That works out for us really well. But just putting that out there, it's a lot. The hype is awesome, the feeling's great, but there is so much there that like fans don't understand until it actually happens to them.
Yeah. And I get it, because the Packers, I don't get it, should I say, because the Packers don't make trades like that. Like, we'll trade a conditional 6 for a guy, and that's kind of like where we're at. So, even Reggie White, that was a free agent, but that changed our organization, but we didn't have to trade anything for him, right? So, like, that would be, a lot of people would compare it to that, like a changing moment where you bring in a defender like that, but you'd also have to give up so many 1st-round picks. So I understand the risk. Yeah.
Didn't also Brett Favre get traded for a 4th-round pick or something like that? Like, you guys are so good at just trading nothing for, and then
Favre was a backup in Atlanta. It just wasn't, he wasn't fitting in there. So Ron Wolf is the GOAT. So,
well, all right, let's talk 53-man rosters, fellas. Dose, we're going to start with you. It's all right, Lions fans. Dan Skipper's back. He's on the practice squad. You're good to go. All right. You don't have to freak out over it. All right. Talk to me about the roster. What I like about doing it a day later is the initial shock of the roster sometimes like freaks people out. And then it's like, oh, my favorite player that came on this year that I didn't know about before actually cleared waivers, and he still is on our practice squad, so everything's going to be fine. So we've seen those secondary moves start to happen as well. So just talk to me, Dose, about the 53-man roster. Were there any surprises? What's happened since then? What is this roster just looking like overall, and how are you feeling about things?
Yeah, I think the biggest move was this morning, trading Tim Patrick away. Oh my gosh, I'm so zoomed in, man. I feel like I need to back
We
up.
got to get that Floby vibe going. Come on, man.
No. I should have wore the hat today. I knew this earlier today, and I didn't do it. It was the Tim Patrick move, man. We moved him this morning, got a 6th-round pick back. It was kind of I think the Denver Broncos did something similar with Vele, basically kind of the same deal here. We picked him up after the 53-man cuts just a year ago, and he was good for us. And it was a big bounce back because he's typically not healthy. So just that alone was a positive. Had a good year, and now the Lions trade him away, get something for essentially nothing there, I guess. And it just opens the door for Isaac Tesla to take over into that role. I didn't think it was going to happen that fast, honestly, because I didn't think Tesla would be ready that fast. But through the preseason, I think we all got pretty comfortable with like, okay, yeah, we can let this guy go, because it's just going to be weird to hold him on the sideline. It's going to feel like we're just holding him there for no reason. It's going to be controversy. It is no reason. Let's get something when we can now. We're selling as high as we possibly can, and Tesla's going to roll. As for the 53-man cuts, though, honestly, the Dan Skipper one was one of the biggest surprises because it's Dan Skipper. Like that dude's the lion. It's like you can't cut that guy, right? We do jumbo packages. That's the jumbo package guy. And this is not the fun conversation, so I'll get quickly off of this. But we kept Jamarco Jones, who I think is our new jumbo package guy. But Dan Skipper stuck around. So I think we're going to see a lot of movement there as they try to figure that out. I think the other big surprise would be we came in with 50 players. We came in with 3 spots open. We put no one on return IR. We cut our 6th-round draft pick, Ahmed Hassanin. That one I still don't completely understand, but I hope we get him back on an injury settlement. It was strange to leave 3 spots open, but I've grown to kind of appreciate these things because it's kind of like the draft. The draft is more fun when Brad's moving the board because you just never know what's going to happen. It's kind of like that now. Like one year I remember we didn't come in with a kicker. It's like who doesn't come with a kicker? And then, we find one, but like they're not beholden to like we have to get in with 52 or 53. They're just like, we don't like this position. We're going to just be very slim and then we're going to hit the waiver wire. And that's what they did today. They added 2 players. And then to what you're saying, Naylor, it always feels like that when you get the cuts of you're expecting all these guys. I think more so because we're fans of them and we see our team, we know our team, that we think that these guys are valued the same across the league. And reality is like most of these guys don't have that same kind of value for other teams, or maybe they're just not recognizing it. So a lot of them do get to the spot where it's like, okay, yeah, we could have had him back. And then you get him back. So it all kind of settles itself down. So I think that's the biggest surprise. I guess Hendon Hooker getting in there too. That was sad. That was disappointing. I didn't want to see that happen, but it was, I guess, the right move. He got cut. He didn't get brought back. He ended up signing with, I think, Carolina's practice squad. So maybe there's a path at some point, but it just didn't connect here. It didn't connect. I think the last preseason game had to be a positive for him, and it wasn't. I thought up until the last preseason game, as rough as it was, I thought he was still going to make the team. But that last preseason game there just wasn't enough positive. There wasn't enough to be like, this makes sense. We didn't feel like there was a step forward. Last year was a step forward. This year felt like a real step back. It was disappointing. I hate it because I thought that he was going to be here for a while, but it was also seemingly the right move, and I think it's going to work out better for him.
Well, listen, my fantasy team thanks the Lions because Tesla is on my dynasty team. I drafted him about a month ago, so good to see that he's earning the reps there. He may not be a big factor this year, but future, listen, it'll be worth it. I'm looking forward to it.
Out. You know what I'm saying? Packers about to find out.
All right, one bar. Let's go to you, brother. Same thing, man. 53-man roster cuts have happened. The secondary moves has also started to happen. Last week on this very show, you had a shocker of a trade go down that you were not happy with. Yeah, are you happy with the roster as it stands now after the 53-man cut down?
Oh, man, the Vikings have been busy on the trade market. I mean, so first off, I got hats off to Kwesi, the GM. He gets a 5th rounder for Sam Howell, who was not going to make the 53. And then Mekhi Blackman on, 2 days ago, he ends up getting a later round pick for him. So it was beautiful to see that. Right now, the Vikings have like 11 draft picks for 2026, which would be nice because we had like 1 last year. So they made something out of nothing. And then today, I mean, Adam Thielen's coming home. They ended up trading for him, which is a big part of the 53-man discussion because the wide receiver after the final cuts with Addison being out for the first 3 games, you're looking at Justin Jefferson and just a bunch of dudes. So we knew something was going to happen. And then sure enough, this morning, they pull the trigger on Thielen. As far as the compensation for that, I mean, what it comes down to, I mean, we swapped a couple of 5ths. There's a 7th involved, but it comes down to we end up pretty much giving the Panthers a 4th round pick for Thielen. And, just looking at that, I mean, it seems a little bit steep for a 35-year-old wide receiver, but really, I mean, we're all for it. Bring him on. I mean, after week 3, it's going to be Jefferson, Addison, Thielen. I'll take Thielen all day, especially getting them picks for a Sam Howell and for Mekhi Blackman. So that was the biggest part of the 53. As far as how it ended up shaking out, I mean, some of the biggest talkers, I mean, we kept 7 undrafted free agents. I mean, we only had 4 draft picks from last year, so you can see why that might be a little bit inflated, but 7 undrafted free agents, you don't see that very often, but the guys they kept, there's some damn good players, one of them being Max Brosmer, who, I mean, probably is looked at as the backup probably midway through the season. Brosmer played fantastic. Very excited about him for the coming years to be a backup. And then Carson Wentz, another guy we signed on Saturday, which to me is just kind of funny. I mean, it's Carson Wentz. He's not going to be a game changer, but seeing him in purple, 4 cornerbacks, that's the biggest talker. Vikings have 4 cornerbacks right now. And it's Isaiah Rodgers, it's Byron Murphy, Jeff Okudah. And then you got Dwight McGlothern. So that is the biggest glaring need right now. There's got to be a move coming. There's no way they're not going to do anything. Like I said, they got all those picks. They moved Harrison Phillips. They got a little money freed up there. So there's got to be a cornerback move coming. Other than that, I mean, Dion kind of touched on it. Like when we were cutting these guys, like a Gabe Murphy yesterday and a Zemiah Vaughn, these guys that we feel like, oh my God, everybody's going to claim him. He's gone. He's gone. Surprise, surprise. They're back on the practice squad. Nobody else likes our garbage. We love our garbage. Nobody else does. So overall, the roster is very solid. Like every other team, there's definitely some questions at the depth. But cornerback will be the one to watch. There's got to be a move coming. There better be a move coming or they're going to be in trouble.
All right, man. A great breakdown of what's happened so far with the Vikings and Adam Thielen coming home, man. That's got to feel pretty good. You know, he's obviously not the player he was when he left.
Now.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
Whoa, hey.
He'd be the best receiver they ever had.
What
I'll give up
the
a 4.
Packers.
Ever had? Come on. Come on. The first part was crazy. That part is insane.
I like
He'd
it.
be the second best wide receiver they've had over the last 10-ish years. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Jordy Nelson clears him. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Jordy Nelson would be above him.
Nah,
Rick,
Devontae, come on, man.
Rick wants to know if Nick's upset. He's not upset. He's just in prison.
I'm in prison. I'm in corporate prison.
Well, yeah. Let's try to cheer you up and talk a little bit of Bears 53-man roster, brother. I want to know what were the cuts that you guys made, and now the secondary moves have happened as well. How are you feeling overall about this roster that I'm sure you're going to predict here in a few minutes to be number 1 in the North?
Of course. You know me all so well. I know we've been on the show for 3 times, but you already know me really well. No, I'll say this about the team is that I like what they've put together. Also, I wish you guys could. All right, you guys can kind of see I put the Bears on the thing just because I was, chalking something up on the prison board. But here's what I'll say about the Bears team. I like the roster. A lot of it is what's coming back from last year, and it shows that this team had a lot of talent. It's just that we had terrible coaching last year. So bringing back most of this team, along with the improvements that we've had on the offensive line, has been great. And that's where I kind of want to kick things off. We had a problem because we had too many, reliable offensive linemen. I mean, we're not going to get rid of our 3 interior guys of Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and Joe Tooney. That right there, I mean, is already, we spent a lot of money there. Darnell Wright looking good. Our left tackle situation, it's not like we don't have a left tackle. It's just that we don't know who it's going to be. So the Bears, that's a problem that we've not used to. Usually it's like, okay, who can we go to River North in downtown Chicago and go pick up a bouncer to play left tackle for the Bears week 1? The second string guys, they have a lot of depth there too. So we have people that are going to back them up. So this is the best I've seen from an offensive line room in quite some time for the Bears. The wide receiver room, super stacked. Love that they kept Ja'Day Walker, the undrafted rookie free agent from Texas A&M. Had an electric preseason. Looked solid. They made the right choice by keeping him and releasing some of the other guys, in my personal opinion. The tight end room, I like that the Bears only went with 3 tight ends on the active roster, even though Ben Johnson's a big fan of that room. It allowed opportunity for there to be more room elsewhere. And you see that in the defensive back room. They're stacked from top to bottom. I mean, when Josh Blackwell is your bottom guy and he can play he has starting experience going against Devontae Adams a couple years ago when he was still on the Packers. Overall, just a very solid group overall, even after major injuries to Terrell Smith and other guys that happened in the defensive back room. Going through the rest of the defense, linebackers look solid. They ended up keeping Noah Sewell, a guy that was built like glass till this year. Now he's been doing a really good job. Oh, and then on top of it, Ruben Hypolite, runs up under a 4.440 time as a linebacker. This team is just super fast. They have a lot of depth in every single area. The one area that does concern me still is the edge position, which there are edges out there, slim pickings to say the least, but the Bears could go out and spend the money on it. Defensive line is what's going to be the big savior of the front 4 for the Bears this season. And right now, going back to the offense, 3 quarterback set with Case Keenum, Tyson Bagent, and Caleb looks solid overall. But the one concern, I know all Bears fans in the chats can definitely attest to this, is the running back room. We have only one active running back, and that's DeAndre Swift practicing at the moment. That's a problem. We brought in Britton Brown, who had a nice preseason for us on the practice squad. We got rid of Ian Wheeler, which he looked a lot slower after his ACL injury. So hoping that he gets picked up somewhere, but he unfortunately didn't make the practice squad. Then on top of that, too, there are a lot of running backs that are out there still that the Bears could go out and get. But that's definitely the room that the Bears need to find some help, is the running back room for sure, followed by the defensive edge room. But at the end of the day, I love this Bears roster. I'm happy with it. Coaches look great. Everything is looking a lot better than it has the last couple of seasons, to say the least. So I'm excited to see what they do and how they progress throughout the season.
Nick, I got a name for you. How about Jadeveon Clowney?
You know, I was big on potentially bringing him in. I know that he's still a free agent. I feel like, because I think he's only 6'3". I mean, when I'm saying only, I'm talking like NFL size for an edge, like 6'3". I think he's like 255, 260, something like that. Dennis Allen likes his edges 6'6", 270 plus. I mean, we brought on Passanyu, who is like 6'7", 295, and he's a practice squad guy. But Montez Sweat, 6'6", 280. Then you have Dio, who is 6'5", 270 something. Like, they're big dudes.
Clowney's listed as 6'5", 266. Just
is he?
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Well, then
he's big.
That sounds like an opportunity there. I know Zadarius Smith was someone, which everyone in this room knows who that is.
Got to complete it.
Got to complete the cycle. That's what I said too. I was like, we have to complete the cycle of having him play for every NFC North team. Have to be the first.
Lions didn't give me enough opportunity. He'll trash the former team, man, every time.
No, we love Zadarius. He's staying here. We love that man. Come back, Zadarius, any day. It's coming. It's coming.
He's staying here as if he's already in uniform. That's
he's
great.
already here. He's already here. I saw him yesterday.
He's on his way.
He was going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like seeing Micah Parsons at the Dallas airport earlier today.
Yes, bro. Yes. I saw that going around X.
He's on his way to Green Bay. Yeah. He's on his way.
Oh, my gosh. That's perfect. All right, Bass. We got to get to you as well. Very, very curious to see what's going on with the Packers in that roster. Nick was talking running back room. I know that, you guys have had some issues there as well as far as your backup position. But talk to me overall about this roster. Who's healthy? It'd be nice to know, are guys like Watson, are they starting on IR? Like, just what's going on with this team overall? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so there wasn't too many shocking moves. Like years past, it's been, certain times you're trying to guess the Packers roster and you're like, dang, I got like 44, 45 right. I got 50 out of 53. There wasn't too many shocking things. The shocking moves, I would say, which I wouldn't even consider these shocking, is they let go of McCole Hardman and they let go of Isaiah Simmons. Two guys they brought in as free agents this offseason. Usually Brian Gutekunst, picks from the bottom of the barrel, brings these guys in like a Devondre Campbell, Rasul Douglas, a Keyshawn Nixon. And a lot of the times it works out. It didn't for both of these guys, although they did bring back Hardman on the practice squad today, which also makes a lot of sense because he was a veteran guy. So if they were to keep him on his 53, initially yesterday, his base salary would have been guaranteed for the entire year. Now having him on the practice squad, they can still call him up and they don't have to guarantee his salary. Another little bit of a surprising move, I would say, is releasing Kalen King, who's had a solid preseason, solid training camp. And actually they didn't even want to bring him back to the practice squad, or he just decided to try elsewhere because at this rate, he was never going to make the roster, and he signed with Carolina to their practice squad today. You talked about the running back room a little bit. So Marshawn Lloyd started the year on injured reserve with designation to return. It was kind of what the expected move was there. Unfortunately, the guy just can't catch a break and continues to get injured. But outside of that, the running back room, I think, is very solid. Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Brooks. I'm very, very confident going into this season with that room. And yes, Christian Watson is starting the year on the PUP, but he's looked very ahead of schedule. And I don't want to get caught saying that because we've had, times in the past with someone like David Bakhtiari. We're like, oh, he's ready to come back. And then he never plays again. So I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but he does look really ahead of schedule. And then starting the year in the PUP, he's out a minimum of the first 4 weeks, as you know, and then the Packers have a bye on the 5th week. So actually really, the first time he could come back is week 6. Will he come back as early as week 6? Probably not. But outside of that, guys like Marshawn Lloyd and also Jacob Monk, who they put on the designated to return injury reserve, they have the ability to come back week 6. As for the wide receiver position, I talked about McCole Hardman getting cut. They decided to keep 6, which included Malik Heath as the 6th wide receiver, a guy that has made the roster 3 years in a row as an undrafted free agent, which is awesome to see. Dobbs, Reed, Wicks, and Golden, and also Savion Williams. A lot of injured guys in that room, but today, Jaden Reed, Tay Wicks, all returned to, or both of them returned to practice, even though Jaden Reed still looks like his foot is kind of an issue and he might not be 100% by week 1. So that's definitely a worry there. Offensive line, a couple days ago, we traded for Darian Kennard, a player that's won 3 straight Super Bowls. Not that he had anything really to do with them, but 2 with the Chiefs this past season with the Eagles, just to get more offensive line depth. I feel very confident about this offensive line. I feel like we have 7 total guys that could start. And I don't think there's a lot of other offensive lines around the league that could say that. As for this defense, Colin Oliver started on the PUP, a rookie we drafted in I believe the 5th round. Was really excited for him this season. So hopefully he can come back soon. Baron Sorrell is on the active roster, but he's injured. But the fact that he didn't go on IR or the PUP earlier showcases that he probably will be back sooner rather than later. And then also Nazir Stackhouse for that defensive lineman room. They kept 6 defensive tackles, which is a lot for the Packers. And this continues their streak of 21 years for an undrafted free agent guy making the week 1 roster, which is absurd, I think. And Nazir Stackhouse was definitely the guy that, no one wanted to keep off this roster, even if he is nose tackle number 3 and defensive lineman number 6. The guy shows a ton of potential. And just to wrap things up, we keep 11 defensive backs and only 4 linebackers, although we did sign a linebacker today to the active roster, Nick Nyman, career special teamer for the Chargers last 4 seasons, nearly 1,300 special team reps. Just good to get that in the building, another special teams guy. Defensive backs, obviously there's, some concern with the Packers cornerback room, and they actually cut their rookie Micah Robinson today for Nick Nyman. So actually they only have 5 corners at this point, but Hobbs, Nixon, Valentine, Haddon, and Bo Melton. Bo Melton made the roster as a cornerback, just like I was talking about. And it's mainly because this guy is such a core special teamer. He's our number 1 gunner. At this point, they might as well just throw him back a punt return because I don't know who's going to do it. He can just do it all. Just throw him back there. He can play receiver if we have some injuries week 1. I'm so glad that Bo Melton made the roster. But, it's going to be a big test for this cornerback room. With Keyshawn Nixon entering the year as cornerback 1, Nate Hobbs still coming off injury, not back at practice yet. Carrington Valentine entering year 3. Bo Melton, the converted receiver. Kamal Haddad, a guy that, didn't prove much after getting drafted to the Chiefs. It's going to be tested, but overall, nothing too crazy about this Packers 53. I expect it to also change more in the next week.
It's nice to hear that you guys are in on Nazir Stackhouse. I must have mocked him 1,000 times in every late, because he was just sitting there every 6th round you could get Nazir Stackhouse. All right, well, we could use a big defensive tackle that can stop the run. So it's cool to see that you guys are in on him. It's always tough for those late guys to make rosters, but I think there's a lot of talent there too. So
yeah, I like him. Nazir, it's crazy. He went undrafted, and little fun note about him. He has narcolepsy as well, but he made the roster. Yeah, he does. He made the roster with his teammate Warren Brinson, who he drafted in the 6th round. So we got 2 Georgia Bulldogs on that defensive line. Packers love their Bulldogs on the defense. So I'm just glad they both made it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, if you want to be a bigger part of the NFC North Roundtable, the best way to do so is to join the Patreon community. You can do so by clicking the link pinned to the top of the chat. That'll get you access to backstage of all of our shows, not just the NFC North Roundtable, but every show here on Roundtable Sports. And you can call in and talk your trash. We had a couple calls yesterday, actually, on the AFC South, and it got some things stirred up. We had a Jags fan come in right at the Titans host for one of his takes. Actually, it was even worse. It wasn't even one of his takes. It was the guy that was there the week before his take, and so he made him defend it, which was great. So yeah, it was a lot of fun though. You guys definitely can contribute in a big way by joining the Patreon community here at Roundtable Sports. And As always, the show is brought to you by RotoWire, the best tandem fantasy football app in the business. Promo code RTS for 15% off. It is the biggest draft weekend of the year. I know a lot of people like to wait till this weekend. I usually tend to wait until Monday, but with RotoWire, you will have the advantage. I guarantee it. And here's the best way to use it, in my opinion. So basically what you can do is you can attach your league to this app, and it will allow you to get a leg up with mock drafting. So for example, I run a 2-quarterback league. I also have it's a keeper as well. And good luck doing a mock draft on ESPN or NFL.com with those parameters set. But I can put all the keepers in as if the league is set, attach my ESPN league to this app, and then run mock drafts until my little heart can't take it anymore. And then also what I can do is add the league and make it a draft assistant. So if I come up with a game plan, I don't know about you, but I game plan a lot for these things. What sucks though is I always get enticed by a player I didn't expect to be there, and it makes me change my game plan on the fly. I can ensure that that's not going to happen by attaching my league and doing the tandem with the draft assistant while I'm right there to keep myself accountable. So once again, promo code RTS, 15% off. RotoWire is the best tandem fantasy football app, a must-have if you want to win your leagues. Check them out. All right, fellas, we're going to switch gears a little bit. And I did this yesterday with the AFC South, also did it with the NFC West. And I like the flow of the way we did it on the NFC West. So I'm going to steal that shamelessly here. What we're going to do is we're going to pick a team. The other 3 people are going to give their record prediction for that team. And then we will go to the creator in which represents the team. And then at the end, we're going to compile all of that and figure out where you rank the division. So don't tell me where you rank this team. Just simply give me the record, why you think they're going to have that record, stand on business. We're going to start with Knicks Bears. We're going to put them in the boiler room. And Bass, we're going to start with you. I want to know what your record prediction is for the Chicago Bears this upcoming season and why.
Sorry, Nick. I'm going to go 8-9. I'm going to go 8-9. I don't think it's that bad. And I like Ben Johnson. I like what they're building there. I just think this year is going to be a continuation of what they're building. I don't think it's going to be to that point where it's like, okay, we're a 10, 11, 12 win team. Do I think they have the talent on the team to be one of those teams? Yeah, I do. But I think when you get a new coach into the building, some new players, a whole new offensive line, that continuity has to build through a season, not just preseason, not through camp. It has to build. And I'm still not sold on Caleb yet. I'm not. I think he has all the talent in the world, but I'm still not sold on it. So I'm going 8-9 for the Bears.
All right. One bar. What is your record prediction for the Bears and why?
Baz is kind of stealing my thunder here. So I got him at 8-9, but I'm also going to say I mean, Baz pretty much summed it up. Like, they're the biggest mystery here because their roster looks pretty damn good. Like, they could surprise a lot of people. And also looking back at this next year, like, oh my God, I can't believe 8-9. Like, it's just such a mystery. I got to see the Bears do it. They've had good rosters before and they just haven't done it. New coach, bunch of new players. I get it. They put some players on the offensive line. Like, there's so much intrigue with the Bears. To me, this is easily the biggest question mark in the division. But like Baz said, I got to see it. And maybe we will. Like, I would not be surprised one damn bit. But 8-9 is still a little bit of a leap compared to last year. It's just how big of a leap they're going to make. Clearly, they're going to be better. They're going to be a better team. There's no doubt about that.
All right, Dose. The other two have the Bears at 8-9. What do you got them at?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9-8. I think
Nice.
I think like you guys got some good games, like tough games in here. Even though you finished with last season, like you guys have some really difficult games in this still. I don't know how many upsets they pull off. That's kind of the thing I'm interested in. Like teams like Baltimore, I don't see them beating Baltimore. Cincinnati's an interesting one. Washington again running that back. Like they got a lot of those games where I just wonder a little bit of, can they score enough? Like teams like Cincinnati, like will they score enough against teams like that? So I don't know how many upsets we're gonna get pulled here, but I do feel like for the most part, they're gonna pull off a couple division wins. Like they're gonna split almost across the board, I think, here. So I'm gonna go 9-8.
Well, Nick, I mean, we know that you're going to have at least one loss for the Bears because they do play my 49ers this year, and that's totally fine. But outside of that, what is the overall record for your Chicago Bears this year?
I like your optimism. I will say that. Anyway, I got the Bears at 10-7. I think that they are going to be, like everyone's saying, they have a tough schedule. They have a lot of talent. They are going to make mistakes, though. And we do play in the hardest division in football. So 6 games are coming against the hardest division in football. That said, 10-7, I think, is a respectful number. It's double what we did last year. Ben Johnson has very high expectations. I could see this thing starting off slow, though. I could see the Bears, tripping and falling a few times. They're not going to lose on Monday Night Football, though. Just putting that out there. Sorry, one bar.
Come on.
They're going to start off slow, and then toward the end, you're going to kind of see them progress. And I'll never forget this, as I think it was 2000. I want to say 2006 or 7, Baz, where the Packers started a little bit slow. And then at the end, I think they won 5 in a row. And then the next season, I think they started the season like 7-2 or like 8-2 or something like that. I think that's what's going to happen with the Bears, because we saw that happen with the Lions when Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for them. They spoiled Green Bay a couple years back. They got hot at the end of the season, and then they carried that. I think that's what's going to happen. This team has a lot of, still rust to shake off, but I'm going 10-7.
Not too far off. So we had 2 8-9s, a 9-8, and a 10-7. Okay, respectable. I thought you were going to go 16-1, but it's just me. All right, let's talk about One Bar's Vikings. Baz, we'll start with you again. What do you think of the Vikings this year?
It's similar. It's just one thing I do know about the Vikings is their defense, right? With what Flores can do with that defense. I feel like no matter, like, look what they did with Darnold. We were all sitting here in the preseason, like last year, and we're like, oh, the Vikings are going to be the last in division. And even with Darnold and the weapons around him, they got Thielen back. Jefferson, it really doesn't matter who's at quarterback. But with McCarthy at quarterback, there is an uncertainty. That's how I look at things. If I have yet to see them play an NFL snap, I'm going to wait and see. I'm going 10-7. I'm going 10-7 for the Vikings. So I still think they can get up to 10 wins. Just because of what we saw last year. I mean, they finished second in the division. This is the hardest division in football. I think 10-7 is respectable just for the defense and just for the talent that they have. And if McCarthy can simply just game manage, like that can be a 10-win football team.
Okay. Wow. I thought we were going to hear another 8-9 or maybe a 9-8. 10-7 is pretty good. All right, Dose.
Jesse, what
do you think, man? What are the Vikings doing?
I think it's the very beginning of the season, which makes this interesting because of what Bass said. Like, how quickly does that offense roll with JJ McCarthy? Because those are teams, again, that I expect to put up some points, even though the Vikings defense is fantastic. But like teams like the Bears on the road, like that, you got to put up some points against those guys. So I'm just wondering how fast it's going to get out and rolling. Will they have the run game that they can lean on that early in the season? That O-line should be good from jump. So my guess is my prediction I have them with, and I'm leaning on a good start, is 11-6.
I think that's very fair. Okay. Nick, I mean, we know that you've got them losing week 1, but outside of that, what's the overall record here?
I don't think the Vikings are going to have a losing record, but I'm going to go with 9-8 because they have so many injuries right now at the moment that it's going to impact the beginning of their season, along with they do have a guy that's technically a rookie quarterback in JJ McCarthy. It's going to depend on how they roll with him, like everyone's kind of saying. I still think they have a really good team. Like their defense, Brian Flores, great defensive coordinator. I think that 9-8 is respectful for them, but it's going to be like they're either going to go, I think there's going to be a couple games where either they can be 11-6 or they can be like 8-9. I think that they're going to have some of those kind of games at the end of the day. I'm going with 9-8 though.
One Bar, you've sat back and you've listened to the disrespect of your Vikings. I know you're not a fan of this, although Dose, I think, 11-6, pretty fair. Pretty fair. Outside of that, though, man, what do you think of the opinions of the other 3? And then what are your opinions on the Minnesota Vikings this year?
I mean, it sounds like similar to last year, aside from Dose. I mean, everybody was putting them at the bottom. And guess what? They got 14 wins with Sam Darnold. So, I mean, it is what it is. Delta Vikings all damn day. It doesn't matter. I mean, JJ McCarthy, the biggest concerns for the Vikings last year, their biggest issues were interior offensive line and defensive line. What'd they do? They went all in on those positions. Like, there's no way that they're going to be at least, I mean, the worst case scenario, they're the same. I mean, 14 wins with Sam freaking Darnold. If you're concerned about JJ McCarthy, there's no way in hell. There's no concerns here. We got high expectations. Like, and the schedule is hard, and it starts off a little bit of rough. I mean, even week 1, Monday night against the Bears. I mean, by no means am I going to feel good about that because we don't know what the Bears are, but like high expectations for the Vikings. That's why they're making these moves. That's why they're going out and getting Adam Thielen, maybe overpaying a little bit for the guy. I mean, I don't think we get the 14 wins, but I think the Vikings will be 11-6, and this defense is going to be a big part of it. Christian Darrisaw is looking on pace to be back very, very early in the season, which is going to be huge. But 14 wins last year. This coaching staff is absolutely elite. And this interior offensive line is what it is, and they actually run the ball. Jordan Mason, two-headed monster. There's gonna be some problems here. But the NFC North, as I was doing this, making these records, damn, man, these are some solid ass teams. This is gonna be rough. You could take the 4 teams and flip it 18 times in different order. I'd be like, all right, that could actually happen. Like, this is crazy. But the Vikings are not going to be 9-8. They're 9-8, Nick. I'm going to come on here and I think I said it last year. I'll just sit here butt naked. I'm not going to say anything. They're getting more than 9 wins.
He did say that.
So if they don't, then you're gonna come on naked.
Just I'll have the chair very low.
There you go.
I'm a little yeah.
I'm concerned about our subscriber count might go down. So
or it could go
Might
up.
go up. Yeah.
I do have an OnlyFans page. Just saying.
Everybody's here for it. I love it.
All right.
All right, let's talk about the Packers. Nick, I'm going to start with you on this one, actually. I want to see what you think of the Packers. I mean, you're friending me over there, Bass. He's just, poo-pooing the Bears. Now's your chance to get back on the Packers. What are your thoughts on
I was
that?
honestly shocked when he said 8-9.
You like
I
that?
really I was like, wow, okay, maybe a friend looking out for a friend with Micah Parsons. No. Honestly, I'm gonna do the same for the Packers. I got them at 8-9. I think that there's a lot in this division. One bar said it best though. Like, if I'm gonna throw something up and it could be any record, I'm gonna put the Packers at 8-9, or they could be 9-8. I just think that there's a tough division. Baz, I think you guys have the 14th hardest schedule?
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact, but there's a lot of hard games in there.
There's a lot of hard games in there. Jordan Love having that injury, obviously, it could impact him a little bit. You don't know. If they get Parsons, different. This is a completely different conversation. But with how they have things right now, with how the Packers were at the end of last season, and just their injuries, because Watson's not going to be back this year, is he, Baz?
He will. They'll probably like late October.
Late October. Okay.
Maybe mid. He might push the boundary. We'll see.
But they're still missing him for some time, so that's going to have an impact on the game. I'm going 8-9, but it could switch up any day of the week. So I think 8-9 is where I'm going to land.
That is a great question, though. If they do get Parsons, everybody on the panel said that it would change at least a little bit. So what does Parsons do in your mind? They add Parsons tomorrow. What does that do to their record?
17.
I'd put them at 10-11 wins then for sure.
Okay. All right. That's pretty significant. I mean, you're talking 2-3 extra wins. That's pretty big. All right. Dose, what do you think of the Green Bay Packers, man? What's their record? And then I'll ask you the same thing about the Parsons. How does it change if they get them?
Just in the chat real quick. Why is Bulldog hating? I mean, I see Bulldog just coming in here throwing shots at me, and I'm like, hey, dude, I just said the Vikings are going 11-6, Bulldog. So I just want to address that real quick. So it's crazy. It's just crazy work. Bulldog just jumped in here. That's nuts, man. I'm gonna take that one back, by the way. When Micah goes to Green Bay, Vikings are last in the division. That's gonna be my answer.
Dion, I didn't do anything to you, man.
I'm sorry. Well, this is your fan base. All right, I'm going. Baz's gonna hate this. I'm going 7-10, and I'm gonna sorry.
Bye, Baz.
Oh, you
Gone.
Yes.
I'm going 7-10, but here's the twist. they don't win a game starting November 23rd. They're done. They lose out starting November 23rd. So they'll have a good record, and then I have them losing out starting November 23rd.
Who do
I'm
they
assuming.
play from that point
I'm
on?
assuming, and I'm assuming. I feel like I should know what November 23rd is. I'm assuming it's the Lions game.
I don't.
No, that's the 27th. So 23rd is Vikings. Lions is the 27th. Then we lose to the Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens. So we're gonna drop 0-2 to the Bears in December. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
So we're
Cold
clear.
weather,
Just so
dog.
we're clear.
All
Oh,
right.
the cold weather. Gotcha. Yeah. Lambeau. Never cold. Never cold.
Nah, you guys got that. You guys warm your field and stuff, man. It doesn't
Okay.
count,
We
you
don't
know
play
what
in
I
a dome. We don't do that.
mean? Yeah. So that's
Wow.
there you go.
Just so we're
I like.
aware.
Hey, that's a bold take. Okay, so they get Parsons. What happens to the record? Do they win at least one of those final 8 or whatever? it is?
Yeah. They might sneak one out. You know
Which
what I mean?
one?
They might find a way.
Bears,
to get it done.
maybe.
Yeah,
Broncos?
yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think y'all would give the Bears a problem. No, I think if they end up getting Micah, I would push them to 9. I'll push them to 9, maybe 10 wins. That's where I push them, and then the Vikings would probably go 3-14. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
It's fair, man. Go with your heart. Go with your heart.
Micah dropped the Vikings.
Go with your heart.
Well, it's an intimidation factor. They're gonna see it and be like, "Oh gosh,
You're
that was
scared.
our move. That was our move to
Vikings
make."
lose 8 wins by Parsons going to the Packers. I love it. That's great.
Haters, all of you.
That's not
Wow.
hate. That's analytics. That's what that
It's
is.
not. It's not.
Wait, what part?
Analytics does not say we go 0-2 against the Bears. That is the opposite of
well,
analytics.
this is true. This is true. Yeah, times are changing. Times are changing. That's the.
Okay.
Well, one bar I gotta know, man. It cannot be worse than 7-10 for the Packers from Dose. But what is that record for you?
It's not worse than 7-10, but the Packers, man, I'm trying to. They're a tough one. Like that secondary, those cornerback groups to me, like I just look at it and be like, how can teams not pick that apart? Like, how can teams not pick that apart? Jordan Love, I mean, I know I said it last week when we were ranking the quarterbacks. Like, he's got all the talent in the world, but he just doesn't scare me at all. I mean, the Vikings own him. So it's like I got him at 9-8. But I'm gonna say the same disclaimer. It's like if all the things come together, if Jordan Love actually puts the season, their brand new rookie quarterback puts it together, that could easily fluctuate. But 9-8, I was between 9-8 and 8-9. I'm just not feeling the Packers this year.
So what does Parsons do for you? You did say it would
Honestly,
change
I'd be
a
more
little bit.
scared if they went and made a huge trade for a wide receiver. I know that's probably not even in the cards, but like Parsons, yeah, I mean, it moves a game or two, whatever. But I don't think it's going to happen. And I'd be more scared if they added more weapons for a Jordan Love than on the defensive side of the ball, even though they have holes on the defense side of the ball.
Oh, all right. I'm a little shocked, not gonna lie. Bass,
Thank you.
I'm sure
Thank you.
you're a little shocked as well.
No, not at all. From
What
these
is?
guys, not at all.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, what's
They've earned
the
this,
reaction here? What's the record?
Well, here's the thing. I think the cornerback thing is a little overblown when you got Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams back there. I mean, cornerbacks are as good as your pass rush. And I think if we get better at pass rush, then your cornerbacks just get better on their own. I think Keyshawn Nixon was a lot better at boundary last year than he ever was in the nickel. I think Nate Hobbs was a nice signing. Now, given if he can remain healthy, he has a little bit of an injury concern there. Obviously, getting arthroscopic knee surgery this preseason. I think the cornerback thing is a little overblown. Is it the weak point on the defense? Yeah, 100%. Although pass rush was more of a weak point last year, and our defensive backfield got better in replacing Stokes with Hobbs. Jair played in, I think, 7 games. He was only healthy in like 1 or 2 of them. So it's not like we had Jair for 16, 17 games last year and we're going, wow, this is going to look drastically different. I think Jeff Hafley is already making a name for himself at a defensive coordinator to potentially get a head coaching job in the next few years. And the Packers, through all of that, not having Jair most of the year, Jordan Love with an injured knee, Jordan Love injuring his groin, leading the league in drop rate, they still went 11-6. And that's 5 losses against a very good division opponents. And I don't see them going 1-5 in the division again. I just don't see it. So I think it's a little disrespectful to say that because they led the league in drop rate for their quarterback. They drafted Matthew Golden. So yeah, not having Christian Watson, a concern, but I think Matthew Golden at this rate has a higher ceiling than Christian Watson and can become a true number 1. The injuries are a little bit of a worry right now with Reed hurt, right? He's our main slot guy. He's a go-to guy for Love. with Wicks hurt, he can, be a change of pace wide receiver. But at the end of the day, man, the Packers under Matt LaFleur are still going to support a good offense. They're still going to run the football well. They have big bodies up front that can really dominate the run game with Josh Jacobs, who's one of the better backs in the NFL last year. And with Jordan Love being healthy, it opens up a whole other avenue of their playbook that they completely removed last year, which was play action and under center calls because of Jordan Love's injury. And that's a huge part of Matt LaFleur's game. They ran shotgun and pistol like all the time. It was honestly getting to a point where it was very annoying. So do I give my record for the Packers or do I?
Yeah.
So I got one more win than last year. I got 12-5. I got 12-5 because Jordan's healthy and no, the thumb's not an issue. He's already back full practice day, giving handoffs, taking snaps under center. He's fine. I'm more worried about other injuries around the team. But yeah, I got 12-5.
Okay, 12-5 it is. I was trying to predict it. I had 11-6 is what I thought you were going to go with. So 12.
I just went. I won a game over last year because we're a better team than last year.
Sure.
Like plain and simple, via injury, obviously we still got to catch the football. I'm not saying like it's just going to magically happen, but you have a guy like Golden who has amazing hands, or he's shown that throughout camp, throughout preseason, throughout his college career, and I think that alone could give you an extra win.
All right, it's time to roast the Lions, the Detroit Lions. Doses fighting Lions. One bar. We're going to start with you, sir. Dose was very nice to the Vikings, 11-6. He did say that if Micah Parsons ended up at the Packers, that they'd be 3-14. I don't know how that happens necessarily, but we're going to go with it. So, what are your thoughts on the Detroit Lions? One bar.
The Lions, to me, are kind of like the Bears. I got a lot of questions. I mean, obviously the easy thing, low-hanging fruits, like the coaching staff. It's got whatever. How are they going to do that? They got some changes on the interior offensive line, but I got to give a little respect where respect is due. I think, they're not going to win the 15 games they had last year, but I do have them still be, that talented ass roster. Like if things go really bad this year, that would be a very big surprise for me. I got them at 12-5. 12-5. I think they're still going to be good, but they're not going to be like last year. I mean, they've been whooping up on the Vikings quite a bit lately, and they've been a team that you don't look forward to playing. I don't have that scare factor until they prove it again this year with their new coaching staff. But 12-5. Damn, it's 12 wins. I got them at, obviously going by what I got. They're number one for me right now in the North.
Yeah. So your North standings are Lions number 1 at 12-5. You've got the Vikings number 2 at 11-6. You've got the Packers number 3 at 9-8, and you've got the Bears rounding things out at 8-9.
Yep.
So, okay, I like it. That's your division standings. All right, Nick, talk to me about the Detroit Lions. What's your record for them?
I'm going 11-6. I think that they're still going to. I think because they lost 2 of their best coordinators, they lost some key players as well, especially on that offensive line. I got the Lions at 11-6. Plain and simple, I still think they're a good ball club. I still think that, in my personal opinion, they're going to lead the North again this year, but they're starting to, unfortunately, start going in this direction. Still a good team, though, but I see them losing some more games this year, considering a lot of the Packers, like Baz is saying, got better, and the Bears got significantly better.
So basically what you're saying is what Dan Campbell said after the NFC Championship loss to my 49ers a couple of years ago. When you get there, you got to cash in because you never know what's going to happen. You're saying that the window's closed is what it sounds like.
A little bit.
You like how I just snuck that in there?
Yeah.
All right.
I like that. That's good.
Nick has the Lions also number 1 in the division at 11-6, although he has the Bears number 2 at 10-7. He has the Vikings at 9-8 at number 3, and then the Packers bringing up the rear at 8-9. So much for being friends. All right. Well, Baz, what say you about the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, you guys pretty much, said it with the two coordinators gone. And I just looked up. I didn't even, honestly, Dion, I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't know who your offensive coordinator was. I don't know who John Morton is. Cool. Like, here's the thing.
I thought he was the receiver, Johnny Morton. Remember him? I thought that's who it was. And then I was like,
it?
oh no, it's a big
It's
white
not?
guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He's like in his 50s, yeah.
I'll say this. It's funny because I don't know if you guys watched season 2 of Quarterback. I just
Yes.
started that, and I'm on the last episode. Excited for the last episode because that's the Lions Commanders one.
Yeah,
Really
they
excited.
actually skipped the entire game. So
Oh, they skipped it. Okay, we'll have to watch this to make sure. So I'll say this: I'm watching that now. Awesome show, by the way. And there's just so much like vibes and like the mentality with the Lions and Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Like it was all there. And to lose both those guys, I'm not saying the roster isn't still excellent or they're not going to be a good football team because they are. But I don't think they're going to win 15 games. So I have the Lions, similarly to Nick, I have them 11-6.
Okay. So your division standings, you have the Packers at 12-5. You have the Lions number 2 at 11-6. The Vikings at 10-7. Question is do all three of those teams make the playoffs? Is 10 enough to get in?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think 2 years in a row. I feel like the odds of that, it's especially considering each team would have less wins than last year. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. And then you've got the Bears, similar to your friend Nick over there with the Packers at 8-9, bringing in the rears of the division. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Dose, defend your Lions, man. It doesn't seem like the rest of the roundtable is as high on them, although two of them did still have them finishing first in the division, just, not as solid as they have been in the past. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's realistically for me, I'm just hoping to get back in the playoffs. I don't care if we win the division. We can go 9-8, get the 7th seed. I just want to get back in. I feel like having not like as they're losing with the 1 seed is just like, bro, you just got to give yourself a chance. Just get in, just get that opportunity. So that's all I'm after. That said, I ended up putting the Lions at 13-4. So I dropped it a couple games. So I just think going 15-2, like it's unrealistic to have back-to-back 15-win seasons. That's kind of nuts. It's still nuts what they did last season overall. A lot of things got to shake your way for that to work as well. I don't really know where to go. Like for the most part, I think the defense is going to be really good this season. I think that's I think there's a weird in-between battle for me with it. I guess we'll just have to wait to see how it shakes out. I do think we could have upgraded over Aaron Glenn. As much as I liked Aaron Glenn, I think we may have gotten better there. There's also definitely the chance that as a first-year coordinator, things are a little bit rocky, and his game plans are just not there correctly for the right team. I think that's on the table. I thought that happened with Glenn early, and I thought it got a lot better. In his last year, he was outstanding. So it's not to say Glenn wasn't really good by the end. I just think that even in the Washington game, I didn't like how Glenn approached that game. That doesn't mean I'm right. I just didn't like how he approached it overall. So from my perspective, I think we actually could improve over what Aaron Glenn had. Losing Ben's going to be tough. So that's one I just don't know what it's going to turn into. I think adding John Morton as the OC made sense. He had already had a connection with us. He already had worked with us where he's coming from with Denver specifically. I just don't expect much to change there. I think the big thing is the run game being the same because overall, however they run their pass concepts, it's going to have his own flavor. But we have to be the dynamic run team because if we're not the dynamic run team, then all of what Goff does isn't the same. So that has to have that element to it. I think Goff is a much better quarterback than since he got here. I think he's just developed on his own there specifically. And, Ben's played a big role in that. So it's games like Minnesota where we've played Minnesota really well, their defense uniquely really well. But in the past, Goff really struggled with a team like that. So it's the specific games where I have questions too. But ultimately, I think the identity and how they go about trying to win football games, blitzing a ton, running the ball first, having the personnel to do just that, I don't think that's really going to change very much. So overall, I'm still very confident this year. And special teams. Hey, why don't we never talk about special teams coordinator? Everybody talk about the OCDC. We talk about Dave Phipp. Hey, one person bring up the special teams coordinator. Let everybody talk. Nobody did it. I'm going to do it. Dave Phipp. That man, look him up. Look up Google Images. Dave Phipp. First image you'll see, big eyes. You know that guy means business, and nobody wanted to bring that up. That's all I'm saying. We're good on special teams.
That guy looks crazy.
Yeah. That's the guy. That's the special teams coordinator right there. Yep.
All right.
Talk about that.
All off of vibes and eyes. I like it. Well, you also have the Lions winning the division at 13-4. You have the Vikings in second place at 11-6. The Bears in third place at 9-8. And I would say the most shocking prediction out of everybody on the panel, the Packers at 7-10 in fourth place. 3 out of the 4 of you have the Lions winning the division, with the lone difference being Bass having the Packers winning.
Wait, no. If I've been keeping track, all other 3 have Packers last. Yeah.
I got
Packers
Bears
8,
last.
9.
Oh, you've Bears last.
That's true.
Okay, one
Yep.
bar. Okay, you're only saying one here. All right. Cool.
Hold on. I just got to say real quick, I can confirm Dave Phipp is horrifying. I'm scared of the Lions. I'm scared of the special teams starting right now. That guy is looking into my soul right now. He is tearing it out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, don't have that
Oh,
image up if
dude.
you have to show up naked on here, right? And
No,
stay away from that one. Funny boy Roddy says Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones is the DB's worst
snuck Aaron Jones in there.
nightmare. Well, he's a good receiving back. You know.
He's like 30 something.
Funny boy. Hell yeah.
No, I love Aaron. Aaron's dog.
Appreciate you, funny boy, for your contributions. All right. Once again, this show is brought to you by RotoWire, promo code RTS for 15% off of the best tandem fantasy football app in the business. Fellas, this is the last official week before the season starts. We get to start talking actual football. Week 1, all next week. Cannot wait. We've got the cross matchups already. This division is going to be on fire. So everybody in the chat, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit the like button so that we can get more people in here, get that chat jumping, and subscribe yourself, hit that bell notification so you do not miss next week's show or any of the shows throughout the course of the season. The NFC North is going to be lit all year long. For Nick, One Bar, Dose, Bass, and myself, we'll be back next week. Until then, peace.